All right, we're going to try again. Let's see if the third time is the charm. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Chris, and this is my channel, Barn on 11970. It is now currently 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 4th of December, 2016. And hopefully people will be able to hear what I have to say, because the last two times I tried to do a live feed, it got cut off. And unfortunately, that wasn't my fault. So to the people who unsubscribed and thumbed down the video, I don't know what to tell you. That just proves my point. So hopefully you'll be able to hear what I have to say, because it actually has some precedence. And when I get silenced, it just basically means to me that I must be heading in the right direction, because like they say in video games, if you keep encountering enemies, you're going in the right direction. So, I want to talk a little bit about not only YouTube and the people that are on it and the way the channel is headed, just people in general and things that I've noticed. I took a couple of days off because, every now and then you just need to relax a little bit, and I like to keep up with what's going on. And here's one of the things I've noticed about YouTube channels now. There have been a lot of big channels out there recently that are starting to say now what I've been saying for years, how my channel and others are being suppressed, people are being unsubscribed, all these different things. So I love the fact that it took these bigger channels for people to start seeing these things. And I've noticed a pattern and a change in YouTube with the people that are making videos. Because whether you like or agree with the things that I say, the one thing you'll notice is throughout the years of me being on this channel, I've stayed pretty consistent. And I try and like to think I have a level head, and I try and talk about things in common sense, and I don't use clickbait titles and things like that. And I've noticed a lot of channels now are becoming almost like cartoon characters, where they don't seem genuine to me. They seem like they're trying to talk over the top. They're trying to do whatever they can to get you to view their channel so they can make money. Now, there's nothing wrong with earning a living. Obviously, we all do it. That's how you put food on the table, and that's how you pay your bills and have a roof over your head. But to me, it's all about ethics and doing things the right way. And me personally, I refuse to do that just to get views. And I pay the price for that, obviously. But I see, like, for example, if you look at channels like the Mark Dices in the world, the Alex Joneses in the world, and I'm talking about just the truther community, quote unquote, they tend to be over the top just to get you in. And it seems like people are more drawn into the drama than they are the actual facts. And I can see a dangerous direction that we are headed in. And I notice that so many people are trying to push agendas on everyone else. And I've been saying on my channel for years how governments try very hard through social programming, and that's through your entertainment, through your news media, through your movies, your things that you read in the newspaper, things you're taught in school, things like that, where they are trying to slowly program you to all stop thinking for yourselves and following a herd. And I'm going to give you a prime example of things that I've noticed, especially when it comes to having your own opinion. Because if this election taught us anything, these elitists, these politicians, especially on the left, but I'm sure it's plenty on the right as well, so it's not going to be one-sided, and these news people, for the most part, the celebrities for the most part, they say one thing in public because if they told you the truth of how they really think of us, you wouldn't want to spend money on their albums or watch their movies or, watch their sports games and things. But you notice how they look down on us and they're judging everyone. Now, that's fine if somebody wants to be that way, but I find more and more people are starting to follow these things. And I want to talking about how, for example, how people like Hillary Clinton and a lot of the people on the left think that if you like Donald Trump or any of his ideas, then you're automatically a misogynist and you're a racist and a homophobic. And people are using all these, especially I love the one xenophobe. How many people just use that in there because Hillary said it and other people in politics said it, and most people regurgitate what they hear. I'd be amazed to see how many people actually know what that word means. You should challenge somebody when they actually say that. But the problem is in this world, they're making you start to think that it's not okay to have an opinion. And if you don't like something, then there's obviously something wrong with you. And I'm going to show you how silly it is by putting it in different examples. So I hope you'll be patient with this. Because I'll give you a prime example. I am a heterosexual man. I am a heterosexual white man. I'm Irish, English, and Italian. I have a wife, love her to death. I have no interest in ever dating or viewing a man in an attractive way at all. It's just not my thing. So I don't agree with it, but that doesn't mean that I am going to stop somebody from having the right to be whatever they want. So, for example, if there were a scene that is two men doing something that I don't agree with, I don't have to like it. But that doesn't mean that I would want to stop it. And the point I'm trying to make is, for example, let's put it in perspective about how people are trying to dictate the way you think. Because if you don't like something these days, then all of a sudden you're labeled. So if I say something like I just said, that I don't agree with that gay lifestyle, then automatically people, especially on the left, will say, oh, that means you're homophobic. No, it doesn't. Because I would never hurt somebody that chooses to be with somebody of the same sex. I would never look down on them. I would never try and prevent them or create a law that stops them from doing what they want. As long as they're not infringing on my rights, what do I care what they do? But it doesn't mean I have to agree with it, and it doesn't mean I have to like it. And the problem is in this world that I'm seeing, especially in this younger generation, that if you don't agree with what other people say, think, and feel, then you're a hater. You are a misogynist. You're a sexist. You're a racist. And I'm going to show you how silly this is. Let's say you hate broccoli. You tried it, you just don't like it. Now just imagine if somebody came up to you and said, well, what do you mean you don't like broccoli? What's the matter? You have a problem against vegetables? See what I mean about this? Now think about that. Just because, let's say, and I don't like broccoli, just because I don't like it doesn't mean I'm going to ban it from the rest of the world. It doesn't mean you can't eat it. It doesn't mean that you don't love it. You're allowed to love it. So wouldn't it be silly if something you didn't like, you now all of a sudden had to eat because other people say, oh, well, what's wrong with you? And that is the problem when it comes to race and when it comes to sexual preference and when it comes to religion and all these things. And I'm seeing a lot of this on YouTube where there's all these channels, especially I'm seeing from the younger generation, and it is starting to be programming towards the older generations because, rinse, repeat, where you see and hear the same things over and over again, it starts getting embedded into you. That if you don't like a certain person or an idea or a faith, that means you hate everyone. And if you think about how silly that is, just think of it as far as your foods. You eat the foods that you like because you like them. You don't eat the foods that you don't like because you don't like them. So if you don't like broccoli, that doesn't mean you have anything against broccoli. You don't want to burn them to the ground and make sure they never exist again. You don't want to eliminate all vegetables because vegetables are evil. But that's what people are trying to get you to think is, oh, well, why don't you like broccoli? Do you have something against green leafy vegetables? Are you a vegetarianism or whatever kind of thing they would put into that, some kind of category? I mean, people are getting so overblown with this. What this is going to do is, and I've warned people on my channel for years, that they're trying to conform people to basically be following robots, to be drones, to have no emotions. And you see people keep judging people, and people are so afraid to say anything and speak up for themselves. Like, for example, and I've said this on other channel, on my other videos, one of the places I DJ, one of the bars I go to, I only go there because I love the people that go there, but there's usually only maybe 10 or 15 people that come to this bar. And it's not me, because every night of the week, that bar is empty. It's just the bar. But I like the owners and I like the people that go there, so even though I don't make a lot of money, it's better than nothing. The people that come to see me every week, they are the 10 to 12 of them, maybe 15. They're all either transgender or bisexual, or they're into the furry thing where they dress up in, costumes and have sexual relations in the costumes. I mean, these are things I don't agree with, but I don't have a problem with them as human beings. I see them every week. I give them hugs. Sometimes I forget. Like there's this one girl who views herself as a man, and it was the first transgender I ever met. And she's a white girl that wants to be a man, hasn't had any sex change or anything, but views herself and wants to be labeled as a man, dating a black man who is bisexual, and they eventually want to get married. Now, I don't agree with any of that, but I have no problem with them as human beings. I love them. They're great people. They're friendly. So you see how I could separate the fact that even though I don't agree with their lifestyle, number one, I don't stop them. Number two, I don't insult them. Number three, I don't harm them. Number four, I don't try and control it or condone it. And number five, I treat them the way I would want to be treated. But if I was to say this to some leftist group or some youth organization where they're being programmed through these colleges and high schools, they would say, oh, you're homophobic. Why? Because you don't like them. I'm entitled to like or not like whatever I want, and the same for you. And if we don't stand up for these things, then there is going to be so many problems in this future. I mean, I really feel bad for this generation. I call them Generation Me, because it seems like with all the selfies and all the YouTube channels where everybody's like, please begging for likes. I mean, I tell people if you want to thumb up my videos, that's one thing. But I've seen channels where they're like, oh, let's get 1,000 likes, and if we get this many thumbs up, we're going to give you this and that. Like, to me, it's not genuine anymore. And channels like mine who try and be genuine are being silenced. And that's why I left up that other video, which, by the way, I've already had 3 people unsubscribe from my channel and currently about 5 thumbs down on it. Like somehow I had control over the audio that they shut me off on. I just left it up to keep a point. But my problem is YouTube is becoming a place where people are becoming cartoon characters. And the problem is, I guess people seem to like that, because a person could put up a video about them eating 10 different types of cheeses and it will get 500,000 views. But a video like mine or others that are trying to teach you the things that can help save your future or save your life or educate you about what's really going on, we get barely any views. I just think the problem is that we are so overly sensitive to the point. My thing is, if you have a certain belief, if you have a certain lifestyle, that's fine. But why are you pushing it? And I'm not talking about you specifically, I'm talking in general. Why are people pushing their agendas on other people? Like, I get constantly people coming to my channel telling me what I need to do or how I need to talk. Nobody should know who I am but me. And no one has the right. I mean, they have the right to say it, but to enforce their agendas, like I've said before in other videos, where I'll be talking about a topic and then people will just start flooding the channel with things like flat Earth. I'm like, if you believe in that, that's fine. And if you want to prove your case, make a video and educate people in a way that makes them want to understand it. But to force people's agendas is what's the problem with this world. And you see all these people. It's like, if you want to be gay, that's fine. But why are you trying to prove to somebody else about it? And why do you care if somebody else likes it or not? I mean, if somebody's trying to hurt you, then yes, that is a problem. You should not hurt others, especially just for their beliefs. They may be different. Over the years, I've had people attack me. I've even gotten death threats, just for the simple fact that I might think differently than they do. And I've never once tried to force anybody to be here. You don't see me saying, oh, well, I'm giving away $10,000 if you come and give 500,000 likes to my channel or something. It's okay to have different beliefs. But what's happening is we're being slowly programmed to be mindless drones. All right, so Amazing Dank says, can we talk about the flat earth already? Not on my channel. If you want to talk about flat earth, and see, this is the point, go make a video, because I don't want to talk about that. That doesn't mean I don't agree with it or disagree with it. It just means it's not a topic that I can discuss or do want to discuss, because I don't have enough information on it to warrant that. So what I would recommend, if you want flat earth so bad, go to another channel that has it. Make your own channel. So people are allowed to have their ideas. And the problem is, people are so stubborn with their beliefs that they're not willing to listen to anything. And I'm going to give you a prime example. You guys know that on my channel, I have been If I had to choose between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, I would have picked Donald Trump. But I've also said that I'm very weary about Donald Trump. And I'll give you a prime example. The other day, just a few days ago, he was talking about the fact of people burning the American flag, and he said those people should be imprisoned. Well, I don't agree with flag burning, but I also don't agree with Trump saying that those people need to be imprisoned for doing so, because it is their right and their freedom of expression. Now, if they were setting houses on fire because the flag is in front of their house, that's different. But people have the right to do it even if you don't agree with it. So there I am very against what Donald Trump said, because then he's trying to control people's freedom of expression. So the problem is, if you believe in someone or something so much to the point where you're not flexible, you are dangerously having the chance of being led in a wrong way. So my thing is, we have to start thinking for ourselves. Have your ideas, that's fine. But if you keep pushing your agendas on other people, then people automatically are going to push you away. And that's the one thing I've learned about this. Like, whether you agree with me or not on my channel, nobody is forcing you to be here. So when you go to somebody else's channel and you try and hammer down your belief system, most people are not going to take you seriously, because that's just not how things work. And I've always been one of those people that when something is resonating with me, it will be the things that I want to learn will be drawn to me, and I will find them. And that's why, for example, when I made the video the other day about the space shuttle explosion, and there were some people saying, oh, this is old news. Well, it might be old news to you. It was something I just learned at that point, because I was ready at that point for that knowledge. So things happen for a reason. So my thing is, if you want to grow and you want to learn things, don't just go based on what other people say. Don't give in to peer pressure. It's not okay to hurt people. It's not okay to make somebody else feel bad because they think differently. But it doesn't mean you have to like something. Just because everybody else likes broccoli and everybody else thinks it's good for you and everybody thinks you should like it, if I don't like it, it doesn't matter. So I'll give you a prime example of what happened today. I was watching a YouTube video with my wife, and there were 4 people on a panel. There were 2 women and 2 men. One of the men looked like an ex-wrestler, and he was sitting like a typical man would be. And I won't use that technical term when these people this generation uses for when a man sits. I hate that word. I don't follow trends. But my wife said something about that. But I noticed the other man, who was sitting closer to the 2 women, had a very feminine position the way he was sitting. He had his legs crossed with one leg over the other, sitting back in a very feminine way. And I pointed that out. Now, I didn't say there's anything wrong with it. I didn't say he shouldn't do it. I didn't say the person should be murdered or executed or hidden. I just made an observation. And my wife was saying, oh, do you have a problem with somebody like that? The fact that that man was more feminine looking. And I said, no, I don't have a problem with it. I just, of the 2, I think the other guy that looked like the wrestler seemed more like a man because of the way he was sitting. And the other person seemed more feminine and might have had a more feminist background just by the body language. Now, that doesn't mean that I hate the person. It doesn't mean that the person's bad or I want to stop them from doing that. I just pointed out an observation that I don't agree with, because I would never sit in that way. I would never present myself in a feminine position. Now, that doesn't mean it's bad or wrong. It's just something I don't agree with. So if we want to have free thought, that's fine. But, like, for example, if you have a problem with a different religion, well, just practice your religion, and who cares what the other people are doing? As long as they're not hurting you or taking away from you, they are allowed to have the same freedom of expression as you do. And the problem with this world is they're trying to restrict everything. I mean, I'll give you another example. The new Spider-Man movie, and I've seen this with other movies, where Mary Jane, the character Mary Jane, who is a white red-headed girl in the comics, that's how she was, that's how she's always been, is going to be portrayed by a woman who is not a white redhead. I don't know what nationality she is, and I was upset about that. Not because I hate her as a human being, not because I hate whatever race that she's in. It's because that was not the character that it was meant to be. And if you say that, you're supposedly a racist. I'll give you a prime example of how that's not the fact. Or a sexist, for example, when you have the Ghostbusters, the new reboot, where they had all women instead of all men. Well, I like the fact that they had the all men. That's what the Ghostbusters were. And to have just an all women Ghostbusters just for the sake of having it, that to me doesn't add to any of the plot of the story. But I'll give you a prime example. What if, for example, Wonder Woman, they made a new Wonder Woman movie, and the person playing Wonder Woman was a man? Are you telling me that women all around this country wouldn't go in an uproar? How dare a man play Wonder Woman? Not because they hate men, it's because Wonder Woman has always been a woman. That's my point. I'll give you another example. There's, the character Luke Cage, who just had his own Netflix show this year. He plays the character Iron Fist. That's Power Man. His name is Luke Cage. He was always a black character. Now, I wouldn't want to see a white man or a white woman play that character. Not because I have anything against white people, it's because the character was black. So the problem is, if you stand up for what you believe in, people label you. And that is so ridiculous at this point that people are so angry about what other people think, they start to forget how they're supposed to think about themselves. A true confident person never has to ask people or force people or remind people how confident they are. They just are. So if you live a lifestyle that's weird compared to what other people do, so what? You don't have to force other people to like what you do or agree with what you do or even know what you do. What you do behind your own closed doors or out in public that doesn't hurt other people. If you think it's fun to dress up as Little Bo Peep and throw daisies around the world as you skip along singing Justin Bieber songs, that's wonderful. If you're not hurting anybody else, you're allowed to do it. But if somebody looks at you funny because they're not used to seeing things like that, it doesn't mean they hate you. And if somebody does hate you for it, it's okay. But it's not okay for them to stop you. It's not okay to make fun of you. It's definitely not okay to hurt you. But the hypocrisy in this world, we're headed in a very dangerous direction. We're not headed anywhere good if people are so worried about what other people think, and how they judge people based on their own right to have an opinion. It's okay to not like something. It's okay to not agree with something. But it's not okay to force your agenda on someone else or label them based on your own naivety. So until we can fix that, we are going in a really bad direction. And people can make jokes. They can make comments on here, but that's one of the reasons why I don't really read the comments much anymore, because there will be some people that want to stir the pot because it makes them feel good about themselves. And my thing is, if you go on other people's channel to create some kind of harassment or bullying because it's fun or you get paid to do it or you're bored, it shows what type of person that you are. And that's not a good way to be. If you want to spend chaos as part of your life, then chaos is all you're going to get. And eventually, things always come around to the point where you will get what you give. You may not always see it at first. And that's why there are plenty of channels I don't like. There's plenty of channels I don't agree with. And I'll give you a prime example. You guys, if you've been following my channel for a while, know that I do not like Alex Jones. Do you know how many videos of his I watch? None. Do you know how many videos I go and leave nasty comments? None. Why? Because I don't waste my energy on things I don't like. Now, does that mean Alex Jones is a bad person? I don't know. I don't care. He's not affecting my life. So, you know what? Whether he's 100% honest or 100% a scam artist, he doesn't affect me. So I don't put my energy into something that does not resonate with me. But it doesn't mean I have to agree with what he says or I don't have to like him. But if he ended up being a black person, would that make me a racist? No, it wouldn't. If he was gay, does that make me a homophobic? No, it doesn't. But that's what they want to label everybody as. And until people stand up for themselves and say, you know what? I don't have to like what you do. I don't have to agree with your belief. Go live your life. If you can't stand up and say that to people, you are going to have your life and your future eventually dictated to you. More and more laws will be created to silence people because they want everybody to be one thing, because it's easier to control people when they're not going in different directions. So no, I don't have to worship Satan. Some people can, some people do, but just because I don't like it doesn't mean I'm going to stop somebody else from doing it, even if it hurts themselves. It's not my place to tell somebody else what to do or how to think. And yet this is what especially this younger generation wants to do. If you want to be a transgender, that's wonderful. That is your choice. But I don't have to like it. I don't have to agree with it. Why is that so complicated? That I would never hurt somebody because they believe in a different lifestyle or a different belief or have a different color skin than me. So if you want to keep listening to the news and the politicians and all these channels that are using all this dramatic stuff to get you angry and fighting amongst each other, just so you can be entertained, be careful what you wish for, you may get it. So all of these bigger channels that put on these puppet shows and they give you just these nice little cartoon characters, and I'm talking about human beings in general acting like cartoon characters. Yes, you're going to be entertained, and yes, it might keep you from being bored, and it'll definitely get the views, but it's training people to treat people no longer like human beings and just list them in an automatic category. So, unfortunately, people don't want common sense anymore. And that's why videos like mine will barely see the light of day, because I'm here talking to you from the heart in a genuine way. I'm not over talking. I'm not making it dramatic. I'm not turning it into a big event that's all theatrical so you can get more and more people to come here. I want people with common sense, the ones that can think for themselves, the ones that can see the ridiculousness of the direction that we're headed and won't want to include themselves in that. So if you don't like something, that's great. If you don't believe in something, that's wonderful. But it's also okay. And stop allowing people to tell you that it's not. It's okay to not like a gay lifestyle. That doesn't mean you hate them. And if you do, you're allowed to hate them, but you're not allowed to hurt them. You're not allowed to stop them. Just like they're not allowed to stop you or hate or, again, inflict damage on you. But people are allowed to hate each other. Let me tell you something. When it comes to Satan, if Satan was real, I would hate Satan. And that's okay. You're allowed to not like. But just keep it to yourself. Why do you have to let other people know about what you hate or what you don't agree with? Congratulations. It's more about like you're filling your own ego to worry about what other people think about what you do. If you want to do it, do it. Just don't infringe on others. Don't hurt others. If you want to go home tonight and worship a cabbage and dance naked and spill hot sauce all over you and have your dogs lick it off of you because that's your form of entertainment, as long as you're not forcing anybody to do anything and the animal is perfectly fine with wanting to do that, as sick as it is, okay. But don't make videos telling people, oh, if you don't like it, then there's something wrong with you. No, I don't have to like that. I don't have to agree with it. I would never do it. Doesn't mean you can't. And until people get this through their heads, we're going in a very dangerous direction. So if you want the few to control the many, congratulations, that's where it's headed. And more people are going to join on, not because they agree with it, but because they're so afraid to be judged or attacked or ridiculed. So I don't have a problem with saying things that I don't agree with, but I never once would say you're not allowed to do it. So until people can figure that out for themselves, we're definitely going in a horrible direction. Because I see all the time. I mean, you could talk about a topic, you'll have half the people agreeing, you'll have half the people disagreeing. Which one's right? You talk about religions. The Jews believe that their religion is right. The Catholics believe theirs are right. The Buddhists think theirs are right. I'm sure the Satanists think theirs is right. How can they all be right? Or maybe they are. But who's to say somebody else's is different? just because it's different, it's wrong. When it comes to people's beliefs, there are so many different directions you can go, but people are so worried about what other people think. If you agree with something or disagree with something, fine. But don't try and force somebody else to do it. So, again, my channel, what I'm saying now, you don't have to agree with it. You could think I'm absolutely crazy, and you have that right. But you don't have the right to stop me or try and hurt me for it. If you want to disagree, make your own channel. Talk about how you disagree. What's so hard about doing something in a respectful way? Why is that so complicated now? And I speak to a lot of my trolls that do stuff like that. They feel it's because it's easy. That's really the answer. It doesn't take intelligence or effort to spread hate. And they're allowed. That's why I don't mention any of their names anymore. Why bother? So, I mean, this video is half-hour long. I'm glad that it actually went through. I left the other video up to show that they'll just disconnect me when they can, but it doesn't stop me. It just slows it down and just, I'm just too stubborn to not give up. So, if you appreciate this stuff, if you want to give it a thumbs up, you can. I'm not here begging for likes. You don't have to. I don't need 1,000 likes on my video to make it warranted. If one person appreciates it, then that means I affected one person in a positive way. And if we all could think that way, just imagine all the change we could do in this world. Because one person can make a difference. Because you don't know who that other one person will affect and continue on to affect. It is a set of dominoes. To make dominoes fall, you have to have one domino lined up right next to each other. So they're all singular dominoes. You take one away, it breaks the balance. So one does make a difference. You've been told all your life that, oh, one person can't make a difference. Well, then if you believe it, then you don't do anything and you prove them right. So instead of us allowing all these things to happen, how about we put a spoke in the wheel? How about we understand that one person can make a difference when we don't give up? How about we no longer allow other people to dictate how we believe and how we think and how we live? And if you don't like something, it's okay. Plain and simple. I don't like the KKK. And me as a white person saying that might shock some people somewhere in the world. But I don't like a group that stands for hurting other people just because they don't believe in a person's religion or skin color. But does that mean they don't have the right to exist? Well, if they want to be a bunch of people that are hiding behind sheets, too cowardly to show their faces, if they want to just have meetings about how much they hate people, that's great. But if they're going to hurt other people, that's when they need to be arrested. When you harass other people. But you're allowed to have a belief. You are allowed to put a sheet over your head like an idiot and go out in the middle of the public with a sign saying, I hate such and such race. We don't like it, but they have the right to do it. It's called freedom of expression. Freedom of expression is not only what you like, because eventually something that you like might be banned. And that is what they're hoping for. That is why they want us fighting amongst ourselves and basically policing each other. And if we can't get that, then we deserve the direction that we're headed. And we're definitely not headed in a more unifying direction. So it's up to you guys. Make a difference. Or say nothing or joke about it or laugh about it or pretend it doesn't exist and see how it's getting worse and not better. If you think this world is headed in a better direction, then don't do anything. But obviously you could tell by the fact that they had Donald Trump become president that people are tired of the same old, same old. And here's another thing before I leave, I'll leave you with. You see all these news media outlets making fun of the fact that Donald Trump was once a TV star. Well, they also talk about how great Ronald Reagan was at one point. How many people know that Ronald Reagan was once an actor? They seem to never bring that up, but they'll point out the fact that, Donald Trump was this reality star, TV star, and now he's a president. Well, look up Ronald Reagan. He was a B-rated actor, a very bad one at that, and he became president. So that's what I'm going to say. If you appreciate this stuff, you'll share it. You'll thumb it up. You'll comment. And maybe you'll think for yourself a little bit. So you don't have to agree with what I do. You don't have to like the way I look. You don't have to appreciate everything or believe everything or agree with everything I say. But at least respect the fact that I have the right to make them. And I don't force anybody to be here, whether you like me or hate me. You're here because you wanted to. And that's what this world should be all about. So thanks for watching. You all have a great night. When this uploads, please leave the comments because I could use all the help I can get, because you could see with my videos, they get blocked all the time. So without your help, my message gets out to hardly anybody. I appreciate those that are here. I appreciate all the comments and the effort. And I hope you all have a great night. So thanks for listening. And don't forget to have your trolls spayed or neutered.